Video of reviewing the course syllabus for Soc 309, Section 40. And again, I apologize for the background noise for the ambulance passing by. Okay, so this is going to review the grading policy. Excuse me. So determination of final grade. Your final grade will be determined by your performance on 6 assignments. So the first one, again, is the attendance and participation, editing a peer's essay, writing a reflection on a peer's editing essay, weekly Canvas modules, a 5 to 7 page research proposal, and presenting a research proposal. So attendance and participation is going to be worth 300 points, but as I mentioned, signing onto Canvas at the very minimum for 30 minutes is how I'm going to take roll. Okay, but also, and I'm also going to sort of let you know what happened. So last semester, I had a conversation with the chair, and he sort of asked me how I was doing, and I sort of mentioned, well, I'm editing, reviewing students' essays so they could get feedback, so they could write their final draft for the research proposal. And then I sort of explained how challenging it was to reading like most of these essays, right? Because of students developing poor writing habits or having certain rituals they think that are going to help them write out an essay. Um, so then he sort of suggested if I was maybe interested in teaching this course, right? And I told him, yeah, I was interested in teaching a course. So then I got with the 3 courses of the section 309. Okay. Um, and this is sort of what he mentioned. And actually, this is a conversation I had via email that that for the lab for this should be the minimum of 4 hours, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's possible, but I'm like thinking over the summer that I don't necessarily want anyone to do needless busy work because you're busy. Not only do you have responsibilities here at Dominguez Hills, but you have responsibilities for your family as well as work and maybe some other obligations that you may have. So so when you're doing the Canvas module, some of them would maybe take up to about 4 hours, but I'm going to try to keep it under that. All right, because I definitely want to try to make the modules work for you in terms of evaluating and how to develop better writing habits. All right, which tends to lead to better writing outcomes, meaning that you're able to effectively convey your ideas. All right, and that's sort of if any of you had an opportunity to review the first module that I posted was that little exercise that I asked you about how would you go about describing the color black to a person who was born blind? All right, so I am expecting everyone to fill that out or to try to do that. But then you also have the opportunity or the benefit to read my rationale as to first how the class that I was in as an undergrad at UC Santa Barbara responded to that question from the professor, and then what are the possible routes that you can determine on how to describe a color to a person who was born blind, right? So I definitely want everyone uh, to do that part of the module. Okay. All right. Continuing. So editing a peer's essay is going to be worth 600 points, and then writing the reflection or response to that is going to be 400 points. The weekly Canvas modules are going to be 16 weeks, so that there's going to be one a week for 50 points for a total of 800 points. Okay. And then the 5 to 7 page research proposal is going to be 450 points. Excuse me. And the final research proposal, 450 points for a class total of 3,000 points. All right. Um, so with the exception of attendance and participation, all the other requirements that you will do for this class, I will provide detailed instructions on how to go about doing that. All right. So just be in the lookout for that information. Okay. Now the breakdown. So this is like the raw score. So this is the total score from getting an A all the way down to a fail in the class. Just to sort of let everyone know now, is that I really don't like to fail students, but if a student gives me an argument that they want to fail, I could do no more than oblige their request. And what would be an argument to failing the course is not logging consistently on Canvas, not consistently doing or filling out all sections of the Canvas modules, right? Or not completing all the assignments. Okay, so like that would be an argument to the professor saying like I don't really care about this class no matter what's happening in my life, and then just to be honest and open, the professor is going to treat that student in kind. No effort from the student, very minimal effort from the professor. Right? So what you want to do is that you want to make sure that you are active, right? If something's going on in your life that may preclude you from accomplishing certain tasks or exercises or requirements in the class, let your professor know, and hopefully they'll be willing to work with you, right? And that's sort of what I'm also asking. When life gets in the way of your education, let me know, and then we could figure out a strategy on how to help you get over this particular obstacle in this particular moment in time. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Because what I'm also going to do, and I've been sort of working out this over the summer, and hopefully I will get it done within a week or so, is that I'm going to write out a guideline on literally how to get an A, B, or C in the class. And it's going to be on what are the requirements for an A paper, a B paper, a C paper, and even maybe a D paper. All right, so you would do so much work, but the requirements for each grade level has to be met. So like let's say that you're just focusing on trying to get an A and you're trying to do all that. Great, wonderful. But if it's not the quality of work of an A paper, it could possibly be a B or a C or a D. All right, it will never be a fail because you're showing effort, right? But if you're, let's say, trying to shoot for a B or a C, and the work is not up to par, that paper could eventually be a D or a fail, right? Because you're not meeting certain criteria. But what I'm going to do, as I mentioned earlier, is that I'm going to write out guidelines on what an A paper looks like, what a B paper looks like, what a C paper looks like, and a D paper looks like. And then that would be sort of my general grading context or criteria that you will be able to follow. All right. But so like also be in looking out for that as well. Okay. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, the next thing that I'm just going to review quickly are like attendance and participation, as I mentioned here. Attendance is defined for this online course as signing onto Canvas and remaining logged in for 30 minutes. All right, participation is defined as not only logging on the Canvas show, but also carrying out the assignment tasks and all that. But since you have a week to do that, you could just sign on for like that one, like do it all Sunday, and then that would still count as participation, as attendance and participation. All right, or you could just do it like one, sign in for 30 minutes one day, and then later on just do the sections throughout the week. You get to determine how you want to go about doing the online modules. Okay. Now, writing emails. When writing emails and expediting a response, you must address the instructor of record um, as professor, not hey you, what's up, or other salutations. All right. Right. This has happened to me at Dominguez Hills as well as the junior college that I teach at, where I get an email and the student goes, "Hey, what's up, professor?" Or, "Hey, professor," or, "Hey, you." First thing, and I don't mean to come out sounding rude or callous or unfriendly, professors are not necessarily there to be like friends, right? Using the language of Goffman wrote an article on deference and demeanor in the presentation of self, and that idea is not necessarily showing respect to the person, but you're showing respect more to the position that they occupy. So you want to show deference and demeanor, meaning that you show respect. Like the example that Goffman gives in his article, or sorry, the chapter in the presentation itself, Goffman explains that if you're going to go to the doctor's office for a physical examination to show deference and demeanor, you would take a shower and wear clean undergarments and clean clothes because you want to be able to present a clean body for them to examine. It's just an example that he uses. A similar thing, right? With professors, you just say, like, "Hello, Professor so and so." So it's just the act of common courtesy, but it's also part of your professional development, because you should look at your classes not only as a class to get a grade or get it one step closer to the completion of your degree, but you should also tend to look at your degree as part of the process of your professionalization as a sociologist, right? And this is what I've stressed for students for years about their education, either teaching at Dominguez Hills or any other institution that I've taught at. Right? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Excuse me. So then, what you're going to do is, like in the subject matter, write an email, the course number, all right, for like 364, whatever the section number, and then write the issues like, can you please open the last week's module because um, I got depressed because my goldfish died, right? So then, oh, excuse me, I want to sneeze. Okay. So then I would either open it or not open it, but it's just sort of being very specific in terms of what you want me to address from your email. Okay. Well, hopefully that makes sense. All right. Now, written assignments. So written assignments will consist of assisting you in organizing your research project for the course. The instructor of record will upload it onto Canvas to aid you with building your research project. So like this is like the prompts that I will post onto Canvas. Excuse me, for the various assignments that you're going to do for me. All right. But one thing that I do sort of want to draw your attention to is that I definitely want to make sure that you go to or you bookmark this website called Purdue Owl. All right, because Purdue Owl, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is an online writing lab that is sponsored by the University Writing Lab at Purdue University. Um, and I've been using it for years as a resource for students for all the classes because one of the things that I'm going to stress in this class is definitely you need to have writing tools with you when you write. Okay. You might ask, well, what are writing tools? Writing tools, for the context of this class, would be definitely Purdue Owl, but also either a physical dictionary or an online dictionary, as well as an online thesaurus or an actual thesaurus by your side, and even a writing manual, right? And I'll provide an image of some writing manuals that you could use as a reference guide as you go about writing, because I still use or use reference guides just to sort of to think of how to construct certain types of sentences based on what I'm trying to convey to my audience at that time, right? Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If not, again, please send me an email for any points of clarification. All right, and this is like the weekly Canvas modules. There will be weekly Canvas modules. The modules contain discussion boards, exercises, video critiques, and other tools that are meant to strengthen your writing and develop critical research skills. The subject matter and focus of the modules will be drawn from the course readings. All right, that's sort of what I mentioned earlier. And this is sort of what I mentioned in terms of the editing a peer's essay. In exercise, every student will have to participate is to edit a peer's previously written essay. You may use an essay you wrote last semester or any other time that you were a student, either at Dominguez Hills or even at another institution. The instructor of record will conceal the student author from the essays or like the identity. So I should put identity. To conceal the author's identity, the subject matter does not have to focus on a sociological topic, but it would be helpful so we could develop our sociological writing skills, right? But if not, like let's say it's a literature class, political science class, it still can be used, right? Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And then the writing a reflection on a peer editing essay. After you have reviewed and critiqued a peer's essay, you will write a reflection essay explaining your assessment of the essay's content by what is effective and requires a clear writing. This exercise is to show you how to go about writing academic critiques and assessments. The instructor of record will provide a prompt on how you are going to address, format, and present your peer editing essay or review, which I forgot to put there, which I apologize. Okay, research proposal. The project intends to have you think through some issues associated with conceptualizing research projects. You will consider things like ethical and methodological issues sociologists must address when doing research, the theory used to frame your topic, developing questions, and so on. You will decide if your research will be qualitatively or quantitative or qualitatively grounded. By the middle of the semester, we will discuss the creation of how you will go about completing the assignment individually and collectively. Whichever method you decide on, the instructor of record will consult with students about the progress or the lack thereof moving forward to completion of your assignments. And then, of course, it's just making sure that you keep up with your readings. Well, for this class, you don't need to worry about any exams because there are no exams. Okay, there might be like a little pop quiz, but it's nothing that's gonna be something that you cannot handle. All right, but it's just gonna be part of the mod Canvas modules. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, so that's for that video. So I'm going to stop it here and then I'm going to do one more recording, and that's just going to focus on the specific week's readings.